You
while
wanna
it runs.
you wanna get into TOG or like what we've been watching?
Nah, I won't get to nothing else.
All right, well, guys, that's gonna do it for this episode. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Irbal Sinergy's The Shop. I am your host, Sinji. With me, as always, my co-host, wait for it, Bay. What's up, Irby?
What up? I was making him wait for it, but you kind of just, filled the silence.
Oh, you didn't hear the Bay part?
And I did. I was making him wait for me to say what up.
Oh, you were making them. Oh, my bad.
He said, wait for it, and I was making him wait for it.
I ruined it.
But you just gave it up on the first try.
Yeah, I ruined it.
Did.
We were not in sync.
Nah, never in sync. We're not a boy band.
But you know what we are? What we are?
What?
A couple podcast hosts.
Shh, barely.
Barely. Damn.
Nah.
Oh,
yeah,
Burbs 92 is playing a little bit of the Yugs.
Yeah, dog, because you boring me.
Damn.
Nah.
You got a flavor this week? Or am I boring you too much?
You boring me a whole lot.
Damn.
No, my flavor this week, it's not really a flavor per se, but it's like, you really want to get them two expelled? Because you the one that messed up and did everything? I thought you had some big outlandish secret.
Classroom of the elite.
Yeah. But I'm like, really? That's what you want her to be gone for? She don't even know? She didn't even know you did that?
Well, she know now.
Want to be gone? Yeah, which I find is the dumbest thing ever.
I mean...
So, you can't be trusted with someone's secrets. Ain't no one finna trust you.
I know Koji-kun is too smart, dog. He ain't going nowhere.
Nah, he ain't going nowhere. I know he ain't going nowhere because he's the coldest mastermind they got.
Yeah, man is cold-blooded.
He is. I'd be like, man.
He made a top 10 list of like one of the smartest characters in anime.
Yeah, I think he up there.
Mm-hmm.
If he was Naruto, he'd definitely be part of the Uchiha clan. Too smart. Calculating. Planning.
I think it'd be bad if he had those kind of eyes.
Shoot.
Man,
I mean, I feel like he sees all anyway.
Probably.
Pretty much knows stuff.
Think he have a Byakugan? Maybe
I might put him in like Minato's clan. If anything, I feel like he'd be that smart.
I think he'd be better. I think he'd be better suited for the Nara clan.
I mean, well, we don't really know that all Naras are smart like that per se.
True.
I mean, we only had 2 run-ins with. Well, you see a bunch of them, but it's really the smartest one to Shikamaru Shikaku.
Mm-hmm. I was just thinking along the lines is like he likes to like
strategize,
be in the shadows and like not the person in front. You know what I mean?
Yeah. If that's the case, he'd be part of Danzo clan.
Nah, then he'd be a villain.
We still don't know if he ain't a villain. He just be doing stuff. We have no idea.
Hey man, don't be doubting my boy, man.
You talk about my goals. I'm like, shoot, I don't know. You know what? And the fact that you really like him, he might actually be a villain.
I like Kelvin's villain tendencies.
I don't know if Kelvin has villainous tendencies, though.
Nah, that man's face be a little sadistic sometimes. He was like a pure psycho. Which episode was it?
I think it's more so he likes the combat, like testing his abilities and such. I think he'd be better apt to be a Saiyan.
Yeah, he'd be a good Saiyan.
He'd be like Vegeta 2.0 or something, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Like, oh yeah, you can get stronger, but I'm gonna get even stronger too, so we could fight. Ha 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 ha. But yeah. Mm-mm-mm. But yeah, what's your flavor for the week?
I have two.
Two flavors.
One is straight out of Black Summoner. It was the moment where Douche Noble showed up and Kelvin took out his douche guards in an instant.
Yeah. I was like, oh, okay. Knocked him smooth out. I knew that was coming though.
Oh yeah, yeah, 100%.
Yeah,
But
I
the
was
other
like,
one is Wise Man's grandchild when my man Shin showed off in front of the class his magic capacity.
oh yeah, he hit him with that spiritual pressure real good.
Bro, had the whole school under it.
Yeah.
I'm
I
surprised.
was
I thought the school was gonna go into panic.
yeah. I'm was it the whole school? Because it looked more like it was just like the surrounding, like the building itself.
Oh, if that wasn't the whole school, then it wasn't the whole. It did engulf that entire section of the building. I think though.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Because they were in their particular meeting room for their wing to do
Mm-hmm.
their aptitudes and studies. So
Nah, but I saw that shit. I'm like, damn, my man, a Soul Reaper.
yeah, I was like, oh, look at Eisen. I see you. Yeah, so I guess we could start off with that discussion there and give them the rundown.
Of Wise Man.
Yep.
Episode 5, a pioneering new hero. First of all, Maria was enjoying that bidet a little too much.
He was. I was like,
Mm-hmm. And then Maria and Melida were gossiping about the obvious love interest between Shin and Sicilian. But other than that, Shin deduced that Strum is most definitely alive because he tested out his spell in a separate area and it didn't leave the explosion marks on the ground like it did that day. So he came to the conclusion that the explosion was done by Strum to escape.
yeah, smart man.
Mm-hmm.
But he sent me a boy. But that's a man.
Hey, but he's a new hero of this kingdom whose name I don't know.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. But on a side note, before we continue with Shin, right after that, we realize some shady empire wants to attack our kingdom or area, wherever the hell we are, because they heard about the increase of demonoid activity, and that our area, our kingdom, is in chaos.
Yes.
I'm just gonna say our kingdom because I don't know the actual name of the kingdom, but Shin decided that he's gonna put everyone through the ringer so that they can put up more of a fight. But before that, he told Sicilian that he wanted to get her some type of accessory, and up until the point where he said, "Yeah, I can enchant it and help you with your help defend you better." I was actually convinced he was making a move, but then shot.
Was it?
He wasn't. It wasn't. He had me convinced though. I was like, "Oh, my man's being a little direct."
I wasn't convinced at all. I was thinking my man's gonna buy him a robe. Buy a robe or a necklace or a scarf or something.
But then he put a ring on it, dog.
Yeah.
Now I'm
But I
hoping
don't
he didn't get everyone else rings, because then it's gonna.
I think he did.
I think he did too, because he only said I didn't get the boys' rings, and they were all posing as if they were like ready for it.
Yeah. I mean, I was gonna say something about not liking it, not putting a ring on it, or he liking it or doesn't want to put a ring on it, but yeah.
Yeah.
Continue.
Okay, so yeah, after that they went and this where my flavor came into fruition, and Shin said he was gonna show them a portion of his magic, and that's what they should at least be capable to do after this cram session. Yeah, man put the whole school under his spiritual pressure.
Yeah,
I think he was just trying to flex.
he was.
And then towards the end, we had a nice moment, Gramps, where Merlin showed that he was capable of doing the gate spell now, and it actually
Mhm.
gave the other students a little bit, like it put them at ease, because then they felt like Shin wasn't this outworldly human that can do things that no one else can do. At least that's the conclusion Melida came up with as to why Merlin learned the gate spell.
I think that is too.
Yeah, it seemed legit. And then we end the episode with finding out that there's gonna be war, and even though Shin wasn't supposed to be exploited for the war, we kind of know he's ready to go to war to protect his friends. Like, yeah, he hasn't not interfered so far.
Yeah, he's ready to protect the kingdom of Earlshide.
Mm-hmm. And that wraps up that episode.
Yeah, it's nice little episode. I did do it. I did like how his new sword was ready. So
Oh, the news story. I wish we could have tested it a little bit.
yeah, me too. And they're going to make it for the use in the army. So I'm like, okay, I see you
Mm-hmm.
making stuff for the army, taking advantage of your homie.
Taking advantage. Yeah. Hey,
Nah,
listen.
I don't even think that, but yeah. So yeah, so let's get into some Black Summoner.
Let's get into my man Kelvin.
Yeah, your other person, like part of the villain crew. So, Black Summoner episodes 4 and 5. Episode 4, Demon. So, my girl Ethel, she's a long range attacker. She's an archery user, and she has skills for seeing far away. And I think she also became a summon too. So, that's
No,
interesting.
I don't think she's a summon
It says something about summoning.
because
Somebody she leveled up.
she's a slave, and the only reason I don't believe she's a summon is because they did the whole explanation on how having Clotho on her shoulder allows her to communicate with the other servants, because they
Interesting.
can all communicate telepathically, but she can't. So I am assuming she's not a summon.
Huh. I'll have to rewatch it then, but I thought it said something about being a summon. But
Mm-hmm.
anyhow, yeah, to level up quickly. And then we find out that the deity Melfina left to do something, which will be discovered later. But this is where the filler comes in, but not really filler. So they 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 have a day off, so they're going to go with Anne's the guild master person, and Ethel wants to go on a little excursion in the village and the sweet shop. And this was almost my other one flavor of the week when they were like, "Oh, feeding contests," and they say, "No, I'll feed them." She's like, "You let me feed you any other time," and he's like, "Why don't we just pack this dessert up to go and go back to the inn?" And everyone's like, "Huh? What? He's taking them back to the inn?"
And then douche nobles had to ruin the moment.
Yeah. So I thought that was funny because he meant one thing and everyone else took it as the other thing. And they're like, oh, he's going to take them girls back to the inn.
Mm-hmm.
So, uh, so this, yeah, your flavor earlier, uh, the jerk comes in, Noble Knight, being the jerky jerk, like all people do. It's like, oh, commoners flirting in public is disgusting. Yeah, which maybe I could see if they do a little bit of PDA, and I'd be like, you might have more of a point or case there. But I would agree that if that was the case,
Nah, he was
uh,
just jealous.
he was. But But so then he gets accosted. Kelvin gets accosted by his knight lackeys, and he ends up one punch man in them, knocking him out. And then he's like, "Oh, why are you here, nobleman?" After he puts his pressure down on him, so he couldn't move. And he's like, "Oh, I was looking for an adventurer to
I'm a,
serve." Hmm?
I'm assuming he's just increasing the air density in that area, right? Because I don't think he has gravity magic.
That's what I think it is. I think it's the air pressure.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I was like, hit pressure on them in that given space. Like, but he could develop it later on. I don't know. That's why I just said pressure because he
Yeah,
looked
he
like he's
did
being
get that
crushed.
holy magic skill just to alleviate a feel of her curse.
Yeah. So yeah. Let's see. Yeah. So he asked him while he was there. He was like, "I want someone to serve under me and bring me glory." But turns out this nobleman's not even that great of a noble, and he's like third or something down the line.
Third
He's
Prince
all
Noble Douche
yeah, he's just a terrible person.
said his kingdom worships talent, and he doesn't have the talent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they do that. Then later on, they get back to the inn after they had a party and all sorts of stuff. And Ethel asks him, "Do you think I'm cute?" And he's like, "Yeah." So, so yeah, so a little moment, have a little moment there. She's feeling herself a little bit, and he has to meet with the guild guy, and the guild guy wants Kelvin to investigate a dungeon that, and then this is where the guy's like, "Oh, there was a certain noble that came through here, and this, that, and the other. It might make trouble for us." And he's like, "I'll do the test."
Yeah, Leo's a piece of shit.
I don't know. It's kind of like a quid pro quo.
Nah, he'd been manipulating this man since the get go.
Nah, I don't say he was manipulating him.
But to go back a little to the like 1% smut moment where if it was ready to risk it all.
Ethel.
Ethel,
Yeah.
is that how it's said? I don't know. But
Yeah.
my man, yeah, he was ready to make a move. Something about the slave. I guess he felt guilty when he saw the slave collar. Do you think?
No, I don't think he was ready to make a move. I think he doesn't want feelings like that or within his party. That makes sense.
Hmm.
Like he puts up with like the deity wanting him because that's a deity, and
I
she's
don't know,
she's
man.
strong. Yeah.
The way that episode went, it seemed like he does have a little something for Ethel.
Like I put it this way, he might have something for her, but he's not gonna jeopardize the integrity of his crew just yet.
Well, how about Claire making like trying to be a wingman, but also like trying to get his attention?
Yeah, I thought that was a little odd too.
It's like, do you want him or do you want to help? What are you doing?
Yeah, I was like, I thought she was like an old widowed lady, but
Harem.
we find out a little something later. Wait till wait till we get to that part to say something else. But yeah, so then he goes to investigate the dungeon, uh, and there's a tied up lady and an arch demon Victor, and he found out that lady tied up is actually Demon King Gustav's daughter, and they needed to have a relationship with a human to break the spell. So essentially, he lured them there to use them to break the spell. So I
Well,
was like, oh,
I don't. From what I gathered, I don't think he wanted someone to break the spell. But like, it's hard to tell because
yeah,
the whole concept of the spell was only a human can stop it, but most humans are weak, so really no one's ever gonna break it.
yeah. But you still needed to have a working relationship with a human to actually break the curse, which he was looking for, but he wanted anyone other than the hero to break it.
Mm-hmm.
But that we'll get more of that to the next episode because that's when all the good juiciness comes out. Episode 5, Daughter of the Demon King. So my man uses Edio Tensei black magic to animate some corpses, and they're like rank B monsters. I'm like, oh, okay. So then they start to fight, in which they went back to that low budget fight
Oh man,
again. I
don't
was,
remind me. I thought it
yeah,
was funny how like when Kelvin was getting like excited or like, oh, his bad habit's coming out. Like bad habit, he has to be a hardcore battle junkie.
yeah. Man just likes to fight. His saying blood is strong. So during the course of the fight, they manage to take Victor's arm, and Victor ends up transforming into a djinn to get them. And this is when like I kind of saw something here. I was like, oh, he doesn't actually want her to die because a rock's going to fall on the demon princess, and Victor stops it.
Mm-hmm.
And then we get the backstory of Sarah's life, of how she was always hidden, and the Demon King hid her away so that his enemies wouldn't go after her and other stuff. And she was sad and lonely and only knew Victor. And then eventually, how he had to flee with her and all the other stuff. Oh, so yeah, this was the sad part here. I was like, oh man, he actually loved her. He wasn't bad. He just
Nah, he
wanted to
wasn't.
protect her, which I feel like he should have protected her, um, and lived on. And I think the other part too that was kind of I was like, oh, he's going to join the party because they showed his stats. And I was like, oh, he's about to get in the party.
Yeah,
And
see,
then
what's weird about that is he could have. I don't know. He could have joined the party. Like they didn't. I get why he died, but like, really, he didn't have to die.
yeah, he didn't have to. Which I was like, oh, he's about to join the party. But I think it's more so like she has to have the new world in her own eyes, experience it by herself in order to get the best out of it for herself.
Think it was for
If
her
that,
character development.
yeah, because she's like all she only knew him in the world, and now with the new party, you get new experiences and new things to share people with, events and all actions and all sorts of stuff, and she might not have been the same if she wasn't living to what's the word living to like her fullest, I guess, because she wants to do things for him because he's gone. He's like, just watch over me or do whatever as I go throughout the world. So I think that was it. Like that she needed that for her own character development.
Gotcha.
But yeah, it would have been nice. Maybe wasn't dead, or like what if he joined the party and then like he got miraculously healed? I would be like, oh, okay. But yeah, maybe he's
No
not
such
dead.
luck.
Maybe it's like one of those ones where like demons get reincarnated after they die later on or something.
That's
And they
not
just start
impossible.
out. Yeah, it's not impossible, but that's why I said maybe it's one of those things. Or he comes back small demon, weak, and then he joins up the party to be with her again. Or he
Hmm.
comes back as Victor 23 or something, the 25th Victor.
Stop.
So then Sarah wakes up from her slumber, and Victor's last dying wish was to let her join the crew and for him to protect her. He's like, okay, she could do that. And so she's in there. They join the crew, and she never left the mansion. And then they get her back to the thing and get into town. She has a necklace that hides her horn and wings. So no, it's a hair bracelet, or something, amulet you put in your hair. Yeah, and then we find out that Claire and Erd, the adventurer that was holding down the fort for the dungeon, they're married. I'm like, wow.
Oh shit!
I was like,
I called homegirl that went on the date with Claire. What was her name? Hold on. Her name is Ange.
Ange. Yeah. That's why I was like, Ange. I was like, yeah. Well, Claire's the innkeeper's lady, but I don't know if she's more like she tried to get his attention too, but she's also the innkeeper. But I think she wants more so to take care of art. So that's why I was I guess that's why I was confused. I was like, what are you talking about?
Yeah, no, Ange was the one who was like playing wingman and also trying to get his attention. But I think Claire just wants his attention in like a motherly way.
Yeah. That's why I was like, yeah. So, but yeah, she's married to an adventurer, which we had no idea. Kind of thought she was a lonely innkeeper. So,
Hmm.
yeah, that was good. I like the Black Summer episodes. Just plugging right along.
On
hmm
to Tact.
Quick,
Oh,
I
go
would
ahead.
do finish up with Jujutsu real quick. Not much there. Jujutsu Kaisen 194. So I did this almost was my other flavor of the week when he's talking to the bug villain guy, and then he's like, "Oh," he talks about being an adult, and Maki's like, "When have you ever been an adult?" He's like, "How about you ask May?" And I was like, "Ooh, yeah." Or did you read it this week?
I did read it. I
Yeah,
just couldn't remember if Mai is dead, right? Mai.
yeah, yeah. She's dead. I was
Yeah.
like, I was like, dang. And then so, yeah, the Blood Man will try to buy 5 minutes so Maki can heal because she's kind of damaged. And then a few more people show up to help. So not much there. They were fighting their little hearts out.
Yeah.
But yeah, hit him with that tact, OP.
Not much to tact. It's kind of a flashback. You know what's good about this anime? I feel like
What's good about it?
I think it's good that you don't mind just listening to the music.
Yeah,
Those
it's
scenes
great.
where like there's nothing going on, but like obviously in this episode when like he was performing in front of everyone, it's like all right, well something's gonna happen to ruin this because all right, so we had the flashback on how like Tact was living alone and like it looks like his dad was killed by a D2.
Yeah, on October 14th in the year 2037. Not long now for we be destroyed. So
Mm-hmm.
live it up
And
while you can.
I think we're currently I think the present is year 2048, right?
2047.
No.
Well, no,
The
yeah.
present.
I mean, I don't, it could be 2048, but
I
I know
think
it's close.
yeah, I think it was 2048 and that's why I was confused. I was like, "Wait, this all happened a year ago?" Because Colette was a very normal girl and I could just be misinterpreting it, but she seemed very infatuated with Tact.
I think she liked that he could play the music, and she was very interested in the music. So
Yeah, that could
that's where
also
I would put
possibly
it,
be it. But
because she would,
what could
yeah,
what confused me about okay, so like I was trying to figure out how Colette this whole episode it was just a flashback on how like we're in our current situation, what led to this team being the team, right?
hmm
And it's obvious that that's what this episode was. Now the whole episode I was trying to figure out, you know, with the build up, what gets us to the current present. How does Colette get the way she is? Because she's clearly more human in this flashback. She's clearly not able to transform. And Tact is a shut in. An introvert, doesn't like going out, apparently doesn't like cleaning, apparently doesn't like bathing.
yeah. I thought it was crazy how bro was like, you can't get dirty if you don't leave the house, and I was like, huh,
So,
what?
yeah, it was weird. So, like, initially I thought that, like, eventually, from him playing the piano so much in his house, in the garage, a D2 would just hear it and attack, and that's how that would somehow lead to Colette being the way she was. But then they
Yeah,
mentioned the festival and like wanting to perform. Like, okay, so music in the festival isn't that going to attract D2s?
the Symphonica. Yeah. So what I was thinking about this, because initially she had requested to play piano, have him play piano at the Symphonica, and they were like, the town hall people was like, no, you can't play it. And my thought process was like, oh, why don't they don't want him to play there?
I
Why
was
not?
thinking like the piano must be like their favorite instrument.
I was thinking that too. And
Yeah.
then my thought too was, did the townspeople know that there was a D2 in the area, and that's why they didn't want to do it? But when when she had asked the Symphonica directly, they're like, "Oh, sure, come on." So I was thinking that like the Symphonica people, they might not have known, but the townspeople had the reasons to not let them there.
Okay, but here was my thing. Here was where like we're at the festival, right?
Mhm.
They stole the fucking piano, put it there, and basically said show up at 6. I
Mhm.
saw, I can only confirm one, but I saw 3 people that I'm assuming are all music arts.
Are you talking about the people that walked up?
Yeah, yeah, because the
Yeah,
one was the guy on TV,
yeah,
and he was like the lead guy that says he'll bring peace back to the world.
yeah,
But
and
I'm assuming they're there to protect the festival because the festival brings music, right? And music, we all know, attracts D2s.
yeah. Well, the one guy was like, "Oh, he asked I guess the main town's head or whatever, was like, oh, would you do everything to protect the people from the harm?" And he was like, "Of course we will."
But you know what
So
I don't get?
what don't you get?
I didn't see any of their female partners with them.
Maybe they don't have partners like
No,
in
they
that
show it. They
regards.
show it in the opening theme. Everyone's partner.
Yeah,
You see all the
maybe
girls in their weird face designs.
maybe they was out of town on business.
I don't know. I was just like, if we're trying to protect this place, I don't know what you can do by yourself. But
Yeah,
Tack shows up a little late, and him and Colette have a very entertaining, wholesome duet piano session. And Tack finally seems like he's starting to like enjoy life a little more, and then crash and boom, D2s invade. Colette dies, but before she dies, the I guess crystal on her necklace started glowing. Thorns came out, attached itself around his arm. Some spiritual lady came out and took his arm, and she transformed into the Colette we know now.
yeah. I think part of that too. The reason why she took his arm because that was the part that was damaged, and I'm also thinking maybe that's a part where they had Colette's blood on it too, so it made it easier to take.
Maybe. I
Yeah.
straight up thought that spirit thing was gonna kiss him.
Oh yeah. Thought I was like, oh, she's gonna take a piece, take her pound of flesh. So
Yep.
I was like, huh, okay. And it took his arm. I was like, oh snap. Yeah. Mm-mm-mm. Yeah. So I think she took the arm as part of forming the new contract to be the part of the orchestra, I guess.
Yeah, but
Well,
like, I wonder why. So I get the white form being kind of almost robotic. I'm wondering why. Like, is it really Colette in there?
I think she probably shares Colette's being, but I don't think it's Colette anymore.
Yeah, no, because like definitely, but I don't know. It's weird. It's a little weird to me. Like
Yeah.
Colette's old character compared to her new character.
Yeah, because they talk very differently
Yeah, I
and
don't
such.
understand her too much. She has more of an appetite.
Yeah. I mean, she's probably a different being too. It's kind of
She kind of like shit talks Tact more, whereas before she kind of seemed like she was just trying to have him open up.
I think it's different. I think it's still like similar talking wise. Like she pokes fun at him harshly, more harshly now than she did before, if that makes sense.
Maybe it made her a little more blunt.
Yeah. It's kind of like this other show I was watching how they make an Akuma, and apparently it's like when someone dies that they if someone can bring them back, but that person that if they bring them back, that person that died has to inhabit their body. And so I was like, huh, this might be like kind of like a parallel right here. So it could be like Essence that brought Claire back, but she has to share her own body with the being.
Mm-hmm.
So
Got it.
yeah, who knows? I don't know. Episode 2, we're still in it. Still in it to win it.
No, I think we're out. I think it's done. It's over.
Are you done watching it?
No. We're still. Oh, that's what you meant. Never mind.
Yeah.
Yeah, we in it. It's definitely more entertaining than Futu Pie.
Yeah, a little bit more.
Mm.
Yeah. Poodle Pie about to kick up?
You still watching it?
No. Nope. Not watching it. I might let it build up and then once I get a dub, put it on and I'll play some Yugs
You
while
wanna
it runs.
you wanna get into TOG or like what we've been watching?
Nah, I won't get to nothing else.
All right, well, guys, that's gonna do it for this episode.
All right, so Tower God season 3, episodes 108 to 115.
108 to 115.
Yeah, so we got my man Traumare. I'm calling man Traum for short because that's all he do is inflict trauma on people. He's like a wet noodle. He's always cowering and doesn't look like a leader in particular. Um, he's all crushed up hiding, and we find out that they're going to blow up the game field since it's no longer needed, and everyone reached their destination. I'm like, oh, okay. So essentially, they're left with like two options: either remove the bomb or escape by catching a mouse. Uh, so, so Rick tells Tremare where Bam is because they want to go look for him, and so Trom doesn't care for anyone other than Bam and tells him to kill the rest. I'm like, ooh, they're gonna kill them all. And then there's some guy named Holland, something about him comes up, and then they start choking up my boy Hanseng, and then he's all of a sudden he starts talking about a fragment for the contract of immortality. And he's like, oh, wait, hold on, wait a minute. Let's take him back to the ship. I'm like, oh, okay. So then Bam and company, they encountered the seal and they're trying to figure out how to open it. And they start opening the seal. Visante, he actually knows how to open the seal. And Khan's like, oh, how can we trust you to open the seal? What do you do? What to do? Are you trying to take back the power from Bam? And I'm like, oh, okay. He's like, no, I don't want it or whatever. Then we find out that Jinsung's free and he's about to fight the Owl Man. And then Yama and Doom, they're with Yestracha and they start talking about the aftermath of the Great War and how Wang Wang's Yama's father, he was an experiment of combining children and tower animal genes to create beast kinfolk.
Oh yeah, a lot of history in these 8 chapters.
Yeah, a whole lot. And might I say, it's a nice touching love story. So,
Could
so
be.
then, no, it was very sad. So, so then we found out that Yastracha was also an experiment, and they all had to fight hit and miss style. And Yastracha came across Wang Wang and was like, oh, this man's kind of dangerous. Never get involved with this guy in my life. I hope not to. And then down the road, they end up becoming regulars and they climb the tower and they run across each other again. And Wang Wang wants to form a group. He has pack animal genes. But yeah, Stretcher, he enjoys the solitude. And so I guess they do join a group eventually together. And down the road, he asks Wang Wang what his dream was, or does he have a dream? And Wang Wang's dream is to serve a master, one worthy of his whole life of servitude. And Yastrachus shares his dream of he wants to. His dream is to show Wang Wang that he doesn't need a master. So I'm like, huh. And then he kind of tells him, "Oh, a cat can't be my master," which is funny. And then we find out that the workshop person wants to be their master once they become rankers. I'm like, ooh, okay, who's the workshop person? And he still calls Wang Wang silly for wanting to have a master. And Wang Wang said, "It's my instincts to serve," and he tells him to do your what your instincts tell you. He's like, you know, you don't want to serve or grow with someone who might not be his master, or he doesn't want to serve slash go with someone who might bite his master's neck, which is
Which
very telling because
uh,
Yastrasha is like that.
it's kind of like ironic, isn't it? That like the only beast um kin who can willingly
You're,
disobey.
I was gonna get in there later. You're jumping ahead.
Well, like it's a little in his story because like he wants a master and he's probably like the only one who wants to be controlled,
Yeah,
right? You think?
yeah. That's what I was gonna say later on in the story.
Oh, my bad, dog.
But you jumped ahead like fluidity, like a rolling river.
Like a Rolling Stone.
No, but they do say a rolling stone gathers no moss.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so
I might put a cricket sound after that if I could
go
find it.
ahead, do it. So yeah, so Yastrasha started accumulating people because he doesn't want to go back, and they get killed by the people that want him to serve the master in the workshop. And it's like, oh, we killed all you people, so yeah, no one else. So now you're free to go with the master. I'm like, ooh, mass sacrificing. So then
There's a
he had
solution to
to,
all problems.
yeah, I don't know. I'm not going to agree with that one. Yeah. So then there's a chief trainer, Lopobia Kirin. He's not the top. We're introduced to Chamare, and they want Wang Wang to lead a group, and they try to get Wang Wang to he tries to Yashrasha tries to get Wang Wang to leave again. He doesn't. He encounters another beast folk, Lobi, the lion man, and they talk about how they did experiments to make humans that they could control. And we found out the reason why Wang Wang is ours unleashed is because mind control doesn't work on him. And so now we get just a little bit of your points though. It is funny though, because it's like, oh, this beast guy, he can't be controlled by anyone, yet he wants to relinquish the control of his life to someone.
Mm-hmm.
Which I also find funny too, because it's like he has pack instincts. So he could either be the leader of the pack, but he's looking to be like alpha B of the pack, I guess. Be like subservient to the top dog.
Mm-hmm.
We call him well, there's no such thing as alpha dogs anymore. I read a news article about that alpha dogs was a thing that people just like made up for dogs and stuff. Just like leaders and such.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, like it might be his time to lead now, but someone else's time to lead tomorrow,
Now,
type deal.
with this flashback, because it seems that these 8 chapters cover like the entirety of the history.
Hmm.
What is your opinion of Vyas Racha now?
He's a sick motherfucker. Like he always was. He was a terrible person. Like he's you if he was an entire god, a villain.
Oh man, I don't know.
Exactly.
I'd
If
like to
you
think I'm
make
more of a cun.
no, if you make Wang Wang a sword
Not
that you can't use, you're gonna destroy it.
maybe not. Maybe not a cun. Cun likes to sit behind and control everything. I like action.
No, you want you yeah, Stratcher, because you couldn't have Wang Wang to yourself, so you decided to destroy him
What?
after you found his happiness.
What?
Think of it as Wang Wang is a very powerful sword that you can use, but you can't use it. And what you do, destroy it.
That is an unfair and unjust statement.
It's completely just.
Nah, not just. Not just at all.
I put it to you this way. You always wanted this powerful sword, and you've been looking for the sword for a while, and you get it, but then you find out that the sword is not compatible with you. What would you do with it?
What, do I have someone on my team that can use it?
No, you have no one. You by yourself because you
I'm breaking that
solitude.
shit.
Exactly. That's what you did to Wang Wang. I rest my case. Yes, Stratcher,
Hey man,
villain.
it doesn't hurt to be safe.
Destroyed his own homie. But yeah, so anyhow, yeah, and eventually they're waging war between their families, species families waging war, and it's like Ledudu and Kinkikoko. And Yashiracha's like, oh, just kill them both and be done with it. And I'm like, ooh, cold blooded. Sounds like something Sinji would do. And then so we encounter an ancient creature, Akarinak, and she's only there because there's a Slayer host, and this is when all the dog people are fighting it, and they're pretty much sacrificing the K9 while the big wig animal people stay safe from harm. And people in Kinnarak's space, they're having issues except for Wang Wang and Yastracha. And Wang Wang has the ability to overcome instinct, but doesn't want to use it. I guess that kind of was like satiate out of him to be dominant. Like that was he's kind of not dominant per se, but can be dominant. That makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
And then he awakens everyone that was in their stupor by roaring, and I'm like, oh snap! And then they beat it, and ends up it was Yama's mother, and the thing that they fought. It's like Naneya, um, and he lost his heart to someone other than his master by just simply looking at her. And this when Yastracha starts hatching his evil plan. He's like, oh, he's jealous of Wang Wang and of the woman that made Wang Wang change his mind. So he decided to pull a Senji and ruin all his things in his life because he couldn't have Wang Wang to himself anymore.
Damn.
So there was another one I liked when Wang Wang he's trying to feed Nene yeah, and she says, take it out and piss off. I was like, that's funny. So it's like, there's no point staying alive for just to be used for experiments. And so after days of weeks of trying to get her to eat and such, I say Nin, she gets excited because her flower bloomed. And then Wang Wang uses it as a metaphor to get her to eat, talking about how it needed to be watered and fed for in order for it to grow. I was like, huh, smart man. And he broke down the barrier just like Yasracha said he would, because he's good at breaking down people's barriers. So then we found out that before history, only machines and plants existed in the tower. And then there's an allegory of humans being born from plants, and plants. This is when Yasracha plants the seed of dubiness, devil-like behavior, villainy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and then he tells Nin that Wang Nan is the hope for the beast folk because he can't be controlled, and tells her take him away. And then this is when they get the order to mate. And like, oh, you got to mate. That's terrible.
Yeah, what sucks is homie didn't even try to even at least lie to the girl.
I think he lied a little bit. Um, because I think he wanted to do it, but like part of him was so ingrained in like following orders that he was like, "Oh, this is an order."
Mm-hmm.
Massa did it, so then like Wang has like a look of regret, and he's like troubled if he actually loves her or if he just followed the order. And she does ask him like, when it comes to their child, could he disobey an order? And he was like, for them, yeah. And then Yama was born. Years pass, and my man Tram orders Wang to set up a base outside of the tower, and he's ordered to mate again. Also, he'd be freed after that, which he's not too happy about. Which I'm like, huh, it's a master order, be free. But his wife and children are left behind, and they're to be groomed to replace him. And Yashrasha told them they were getting weary of his growing power, and that is why he's being sent away. He tells him that he should betray the leader before he betrays him, and he's like, "Nah, I'm not gonna do that." And Yashrasha says, Nin said it's time to use that one betrayal she had asked him about, and she sets out to save her children from the area, but Trom's there, and he shows up to stop her, and he controls all sorts of animals. A Ahiken, I think he had there, like a mythical bird beast thing. It's 7 out of the 23 uh, animals. And Yashrasha tells the head trainer that the betrayal is afoot, and then says she just wants to see her kids. And he's like, kids, they just my pets. I'm like, ooh, man, doesn't value anything. That's tough. So Akinnarak is asked to protect her child because she knows she's a lost cause. And she's like, help them out when they're in need of it most down the line because she knows she's going to get killed. So then Yasracha and Wang talk. Yasracha is still trying to convince Wang to betray and go build a nation of beastkin. He's like, oh, I can't betray my master. And then Yasracha told him, I sold you out, guy. I'm like, what? Dang. So then he reminds him that he said he was going to take his master away from him one day. And he's like, why else would I join this family? And then the family leader shows up with a Nanin shish kebab, and Wang Name's mad. And he's kind of like a bear baring his teeth, gritting in pain because he's so hurt. And Trump says, oh, you bare your teeth at me? He's like, leave me like everyone else when they become obsessed with something. And Wang Nan asks him, why would you stab her? Did you not think about how it would feel? Would you do the same to my children? And he's like, what difference will it make if I know how some insignificant creature would feel? I'm like, ooh, if that ain't Senji,
Whoa,
not
whoa.
caring about no one else. Hello?
Rude and uncalled for.
Shoes, just the truth, my king.
Hmm.
So, yeah, it's like, did you really show mercy and love to a mere dog? I'm like, ooh. And then Wang was like, you should have known I was loyal to you. I wouldn't have did this to you. He's like, I just want mercy for my kids. Uh, and then the leader's like, oh, I'll grant you mercy if you let the canine people tear you apart. Like, ooh, dubious. And he's like, okay, they could do it. And Yasirach's like, why sacrifice yourself? Nothing's left to live for. And then he's like, oh, stab me in the back too, you selfish and sly person that would do anything to save yourself. I'm like, ooh, yeah. And he's like, so stab me and break your obsession and be free. Dang. So then Jensen starts fighting to buy some time. And so he's getting pushed back, and now he starts going to defensive. And we find out that Jensen's nickname is Slaughter of the Ha family. I'm like, ooh, gotta learn a little bit more there. And so he's getting pushed back, and he pushes back to where they were. And then, let's see. Yeah, so then Bam teams arrive, and this is the first time in ages that someone has heard the voice beside the 10 family leaders. And the voice wants to send Tram to his doom. And Child's on the verge of catching a mouse, and the monster that got loose is coming their way. And the seal is a powerful seal. I'm talking about the creature. And all the creatures in the tower were under it. The powerful creature that all creatures feared, and they're sealed away because Tram couldn't control it, and it was forced to eat filthy emotions in order to still exist. He's a Leviathan, and he's going to lend Bam some power. I'm like, oh, snap, my boy's getting power. And Bam's like, I don't need your power. He said, you're going to give me your power instead.
Damn right.
So then Bam, he knows that the monster is like, I can't let this thing out in the world. It's evil. So he's like, I'm just going to seal you up inside of me. And so then Yasharasha tells Doom and Yama that the only reason they aren't scared is because they don't know the ignorance of, and they're ignorant of how truly fearful they should be of Chamare. And then Yasharasha gets teleported away, and he goes to Laborik, and Bam essentially is a void where the monster got put into. It's infinite void. Big energy place. So Bam's just a void and overpowered as always.
Bam's a bottomless pit.
Show is. Like your heart.
Damn.
Hey, it'd be like that.
Well,
yep, so.
Herbie, you're a couple weeks away from catching up.
Yeah, I might be.
No, you are, because the webtoon's on hiatus right now.
Maybe I will be. Maybe I won't be. Maybe I won't even read next week.
Damn. You watching anything else you want to talk about?
No. We probably should wrap that on up real quick.
Alrighty then, my good
sir. We're going
sir.
over. Yeah.
Just a heads up, guys. The Greatest Demon Lord is Reborn as a Typical Nobody is a good show. Give it a look-sees if you're willing to. It kind of falls in the genre of the reincarnation thing, so just bear that in mind. And yeah. Thank you for listening. If you enjoyed, you know what to do. Like, share, comment, and we'll catch you next week. Peace.
Peace.